Oh my God, you're gonna love it.
Hey folks, welcome to the AI Chicks, where we're providing you cool conversations about AI for all, with each episode covering a different topic on how AI is impacting your and our daily lives. I'm your host, Aisha Corpas Wynn, always coming in hot with that fun, unique perspective on tech. And of course, I got my bestie here.
Hi guys, I'm Lana Hout, and I'm bringing the curls, the charisma, and the entrepreneurial energy. Today, we're talking about wealth powered by AI agents with Daniel Yoo, who is the CEO of Finmate AI.
So let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hey there, we are back and have a special guest for our episode of Wealth Powered by AI Agents.
Yes, Daniel Yoo is the CEO and founder of Finmate.
Hi, welcome, Daniel.
Thank you.
I think we'd love to start this episode with just having you introduce yourself to our listeners.
My name is Daniel. I'm one of the co-founders for Finmate AI. My background is I've been a financial advisor for 7-8 years before jumping over into the tech world. I used to work for TD Ameritrade, manage about 800 million client assets for them as a senior advisor.
I have never heard anyone so casually say $800 million.
I know.
I was like $800 million.
Yeah, I know.
It's only a flex if you're outside. It's really not a flex. The reason I'm saying 800 mil is not a flex is there's plenty of people in the office that were overseeing 1.2 billion.
We like your quick flex. It was just, your modesty and your humble. We love it.
Well, the thing that I also love about Daniel, too, is that he's similar to the AI Chicks. He's an AI dude right now because he didn't come from the tech world. He came from the finance world.
It's really interesting to hear that you transitioned from financial services into tech. What have you found is the most common question that you get asked from people in the industry?
Let's go back maybe 2 years. It was like, what is AI? To now, the most common question now is, okay, there's 1,000 of these things out there, all these AI tools out there. There's just too much to research into, look over, what's actually useful, what actually works, what actually doesn't, what's compliant, right? And so the most common question right now is, what do I do? Just tell me what I need to do.
It's true. There's been such an oversaturation of the market with all these AI tools. And I know when I talk to different business owners too, they're always, okay, I know I need to use AI, but which AI?
Where do I start outside of just chatting with ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, the basic ones?
Exactly. If you wouldn't mind telling our listeners a little bit about Finmate, which you are the CEO of.
Finmate came out because while I was working for TD Ameritrade, got bored, decided I wanted to do a master's program at Hopkins. In applied economics, we were using machine learning and AI to do stock price prediction modeling. My thesis advisor was a guy from FINRA. FINRA, for folks who are not from the industry, is our regulatory body for financial advisors. And he had mentioned that they were coming out with this new program called the Maintaining Qualifications Program, where I could put my licenses on hold while I was an inactive advisor and go try something else out. And so that's what I decided to do. Unfortunately, the time series prediction modeling, numerical AI, didn't really work out that well. And that was around the time when ChatGPT 2.0 was out. I realized, hey, this isn't actually useful tech. So why don't I try to build something that I had trouble with? And I was in charge of overseeing about 800 clients, right? 350-ish A-tier clients that corporate wanted us to kind of communicate with once a quarter, which is a lot of meetings. It's a lot of notes to come out with. And so Finmate came out of that realization that, hey, if this was really annoying for me, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would appreciate some help in this arena.
With you being on the advisor side of that world, what would you say that the clients needed? What's the relationship there between the advisors and the clients and bridging that gap?
Clients are obviously there for a variety of reasons. Some who are more DIYers, they just need some help with the tooling, some research, some data. And then there's other folks that need more help on, hey, I just need the full, planning. I don't know what I'm doing with my finances. And so in either case, the advisor's there to bridge that gap. And If the advisor is not paying, attention to the client because they're, too busy taking notes, then obviously that's a detriment to that relationship. The initial conception of Finmate AI was to use AI note-taking to kind of remove that friction away. Obviously, things have changed a lot in the past 2 years. I'm sure you've seen AI evolve very, very rapidly, and so I think it's moving on to the era of more agentics now.
And before we get further into this conversation, because there's a lot of questions that I have for Daniel,
Yeah.
we have a segment here on the AI Chicks called AI's Take, where we actually go to one of the LLMs and ask them for their opinion on the topic. So today we went to Gemini and asked Gemini's opinion on wealth management and AI.
According to Copilot, AI is rapidly reshaping startup investing, making it faster, smarter, and more predictive. Investors now rely on AI to sift through massive datasets, spot emerging trends, and evaluate founders with unprecedented precision. This allows them to identify high-potential startups earlier, often before traditional signals appear. At the same time, many startups are AI native, building products where machine learning and automation aren't just features, they're the foundation. This convergence of AI as both tool and product is driving a wave of innovation, but also fueling hype and inflated valuations. Ethical concerns around data use, bias, and transparency add complexity to the mix. Savvy investors must navigate this terrain with both enthusiasm and caution, separating substance from spectacle. In today's landscape, the smartest capital doesn't just chase AI. It uses it to invest with sharper insight and greater conviction.
So, Daniel, you just heard what Gemini had to say. What are your thoughts?
Smart water alkaline with antioxidant.
Whoa, that's refreshing.
And a 9.5 plus pH for every way you move.
I did take a Spain class today.
Restoring like a pro. Smart water alkaline with antioxidant. For those with a taste for taste. Grab yours today.
I think it's a pretty accurate overview of the current landscape. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where the different tools are targeting, right? Hyper-personalization, so we have a lot going off of communication styles, basically understanding the personality profiles of each client, and every time a client communication needs to happen, then the AI will tailor that piece of communication based on their personality style. This also includes things like client outreach, client onboarding, client acquisition. Different advisors will resonate with different clients and vice versa, and so we have these tools out there that help with that matching process. Automation of routine tasks is kind of where, we've built Finmate on. Initially, it was the note-taking side, and now it's a lot more of that back office work that we're trying to automate away using AI. And then compliance monitoring. This is a little bit less developed currently, but this is the big elephant in the room for our industry, is making sure everything is compliant. There's definitely things that are being built out, but obviously with that human in the loop check step, because obviously for things like compliance and monitoring, ultimately somebody needs to take responsibility for different actions.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're definitely seeing that come online. Yeah, the one thing I will say that maybe the AI hasn't picked up on is the consensus right now, agreed, is that they're ultimately augmenting human advisors. But with the rise of, even robo-advisors from, back in the day, removing a lot of the advisor-focused investment strategy planning, I think there's going to be a lot more AI-driven financial advising, because that just seems to be the direction that things are moving in. And so for financial services, I think there's going to be a pretty big bifurcation in the market. One catering towards the high net worth, ultra high net worth individuals, 1 mil to 10 mil assets plus, that get into more complicated estate planning, things like that. And then the lower side of the market, where if maybe you are on the accumulation phase where you're just trying to grow your nest egg, or somewhere along those lines where you'll be more serviced by an AI with a human agent or human advisor stepping in periodically just to kind of make sure things are on the right track.
For us at the AI Chicks, we have the AI Asians, and we always talk about optimization, automation,
personalization. He dropped all the AI
Yeah,
Asians.
so you were just dropping all of our AI Asians and how AI impacts these different concepts. I think for me personally, I think it's really interesting because I'm in the M&A space. And so there's always this dance about how much technology to use in your process to eliminate back office tasks and administration.
and risk, right? I'm guessing.
And you're trying to de-risk things,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But The other side of it is about the high touch. When someone sells a company, it's very personal to them.
Yes.
I don't believe that it's necessarily me taking myself out of a job. And I don't think with financial advisors, necessarily them taking themselves out of a job as much as augmenting their ability to service clients in a kind of new and unique way. So I actually think it's a high touch and there's high tech. This is a marriage of both. And I think there are different segments of the market where they will benefit, especially for clients that have bigger levels of assets. They're going to need high touch and high tech. But to your point, will the high tech allow people who are maybe earlier in their journeys of acquiring wealth or in starting a business just have access to advisors that they might not otherwise have access to? So that kind of democratization of access.
That was my $1 million question coming into this conversation with you both, because I feel like we have two wealth AI agent experts here. Do you feel that embedding more AI into the money, wealth, investment space, it evens the playing field a bit more, and not just for the customers and the clients, but even for the advisors? Because back in the day, certain people would have more inside knowledge or a tip or more research that gave them a leverage. If everyone's using some sort of AI agent support in the fintech space, then it does help even the playing field a little bit, I'm assuming. But I wanted to ask you guys about that.
In terms of evening the playing field, there will be some of that for sure. I think there will be AI services catered to the high touch. It's separately and differently than AI for kind of the mass market. The reason I'm saying that is I'm seeing two different sets of tools being developed by the different markets, right? And so for the super high touch, we'll have AI that are hyper customizing any kind of relationship management with the client. So remembering birthdays, special days, kids, ball games, things like that. And the AI can have a suggestion engine that, generates like, here is a client appreciation gift that might include a gift card to their local restaurant or some place that they said they really liked, or, they met, for their anniversary with their spouse or partner. That's not really relevant to the mass market industry. Whereas for the mass market, you're starting to see more routine processes being optimized away, because previously you'll see a independent advisor being able to manage about 150, 200 clients or households in a full book of business. Whereas now with a lot of these optimization tools with, a chat responder using AI, you're able to bump that up to maybe 200, 300, 400 households that you're able to touch, as you can take on lower dollar clients, maybe charge a flat monthly fee instead of an assets under management percentage fee. Very just different ways of doing it. I think the independent advisor will need to come to grips with where he's going, mainly because post-corona, we're seeing an explosion of advisors going virtual because they can service people across the country and maybe even international clients. But the downside is with the improvements of AI, you're going to start being able to see, and this already exists, AI mock-ups of virtual conferences where I can make an AI version of myself to hop on video calls.
Yeah, very true.
Yes.
Are we talking to the AI version of Daniel right now?
No, you're talking to a real version. But what I am saying is if an advisor has chosen to lean really heavily into the tech, you're kind of replacing yourself at that point, because if you can be replaced with a virtual avatar on a video conference, do you need you?
Yeah, very true.
Or it just allows you to be in 5 calls at the same time.
At once,
Yes.
yeah. One of the things I wanted to highlight to our listeners is when we're talking about AI agents, I would just want to give a quick insight that, a lot of people are used to dealing with LLM chatbots, things that you're just having, direct communication with AI on a platform. When we're talking about AI agents, the big difference between just communicating and having interactions with AI versus when it becomes an AI agent is because it's starting to actually execute a task on your behalf. So some life examples of an AI agent is not only are you just communicating and prompting with that AI, but then it becomes an AI agent once it starts booking reservations for you, buying a flight or a movie ticket for you, when it starts to handle actual transactions on your behalf. So just wanted to give you guys a quick AI agent 101.
Yeah. And Daniel, I'd be really curious to hear what you have to say about AI agents in this fintech space. What are you excited about? And then what challenges do you see that will arise because we're using more AI agents in the space?
The exciting part of it is that we're able to get more useful tooling out into the hands of real world people. I think part of the reason I transitioned into tech from the wealth management space was I had no control over my products, basically, right? A lot of regulation, a lot of big players. It's really hard to come up with your own product in the space or do product innovation. The benefit of the tech world is you can change and evolve really, really quickly. And so at Finmate, are excited to roll out is actually a custom agentic AI builds for different financial advisory services companies. The reason we came to be doing this custom builds program is going back to the most commonly asked question for us, which is, Daniel, what do I do? Unfortunately, for a lot of these platform-based solutions, it's on the advisor to figure out how to implement and how to configure it all. And when we start getting into the realm of agentics, because it is so flexible, most advisory corporations are not well equipped to be able to do the implementation. You're seeing this similarly with like the old world tech of, let's say Salesforce. Because Salesforce is so configurable, you have a lot of people who are internal to the company that are just specialized in building out Salesforce, right? And so something similar to that, but because every firm has their own idiosyncratic ways of doing their operations in business, we just decided to say, instead of buying a stack of platform tools, why don't we just custom build you something that'll do exactly what you need it to do, integrated with the exact tool set that you are needing, and we'll just custom create it for you. And I think the key buzzwords nowadays is like MCP and RAG, right? Instead of trying to configure MCP and RAG on your own, we'll just do that for you instead.
And I love that you guys have evolved over into that type of dynamics with your services and in that field, because we talk about that all the time when we're consulting and talking to other people in different industries, when they're trying to figure out, hey, what is something that pre-existing that I can just use and apply to my business or my task or my job or my household? And we'll tell people like, hey, sometimes it's not one and done. There's no one AI tool that can do all of the things that you're looking to do. So you can either Zapier a bunch of them together, right? Or you can just build out your own proprietary custom AI tool or platform. And we're always bringing that up to people, especially in the business sector.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of the times they just don't really understand what the tech stack is. Oh, well, you need to have, to your point, Zapier connecting these 12 different apps so that you can do this one function of your business. Right. And I think one thing I just wanted to flag for the listeners listening, he's talking about creating an agentic model specific for each client. But correct me if I'm wrong, you're not talking about just one agent. You're talking about an army of agents for that client, right? Because I think there is this conversation we always wanted, the all-in-one. Okay, when I started...
Anyone can follow. It takes something special to be an original, which is why the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV arrives with new ways of surrounding you in luxury, including the ultra-wide 48-inch panoramic display and the multi-sensory Lincoln Rejuvenate experience. A true original never stops evolving. So meet the 2025 Navigator, the original that's all new and better than ever. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Lincoln and Navigator are trademarks of Ford or its affiliates.
Doing marketing for my business. God, you got to go over here to do the video editing. You got to go over here to get the caption. And you got to go over here to create the image.
Yeah. And we're talking about using a bunch of AI platforms. Literally, we used to talk about this just to do one overall task. You needed to use 5 different AI platforms.
We're not building everything from scratch. Obviously, it's impossible to do that. But what we are doing is we're creating that interconnective network that connects the CRM and the outreach and the email and the conferencing. And, we have all of these tools in existence already. And instead of each tool having a siloed AI built on top of it, this is the whole concept behind MCP, right? We have a manager AI that understands what the requests are, and then it passes it on to the sub-agent AI that does a specific task, and we're giving it access to specific tools based on the task it needs to be able to do, and then it can go out and actually perform those tasks, report back to the managing AI reports back to the human user. So we make sure we either have a human in the loop step or a human above the loop step. And so people are, taking responsibility for what the AI is doing. But all of that is so complicated. And even for us, as we're building out this do it for you or done for you program, it takes us a couple of meetings with clients or advisors to just understand what we're doing, because it's just so complicated.
And it's so new.
It's so new, but you're basically giving them an AI business on their business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. AI infrastructure and different AI subsets all responding to their one AI supervisor.
Exactly. So from the client standpoint, you're interacting with the supervisor, but really the supervisor is managing all these other AI
employees.
Yes.
Yep. That's pretty much how the model works at its current iteration, right?
We speak your language, Daniel. We know that, for other people, it takes time, but that's the whole reason why, the AI chicks exist. We're here to break it down for everyone so they fully understand and we bridge that gap.
Yeah. And the benefit for us is because I've been in the seat for a long time, I kind of understand this industry specifically.
Yeah.
And so as you're building out these custom agentic AIs, there's definitely repeated patterns. In the final analysis and an implementation will be all different because people do things differently and they use different, they have different pre-existing tech stacks. But Because we pretty much understand how everyone does their business or what the goals are, we're able to give suggestions on what they should be building or having us build for them.
Just for some quick takeaway for our listeners, you used Note Taker as sort of one feature that the AI agent can do. Can you give a few others just so that they have a full understanding of what are some of the sort of tasks your AI agents do when it comes to the wealth management sector?
I mean, the big thing is workflow management. When you kick off different workflows, right? Let's say client onboarding, you have 11 different steps. Not a human doesn't necessarily need to do each of the steps. Some of these steps can be offloaded to an agentic AI. The agentic AI can read through what the existing workflow steps are, read in what steps they can do, take it, do the work, pass it back to the next step, and hand it back to a human operator to do the following steps. We can create, morning digest features where every morning, the AI looks through your CRM book of business and says, okay, here's the people that you should be talking to that you're not talking to. Do you want me to draft out an email for you, right? And then if you say yes, then it can read through your emails. You can read through the CRMs, draft out a, catch-up email or a re-pinging email, save it to your drafts, and then you can go send it.
Yeah.
There's a ton of different ways that you can configure this, but it really just depends on the state of the business and what they're looking for. Last one, I'll say the biggest request that we've gotten from kind of some of the mid-sized to larger corporations is as they're looking to expand and grow, the biggest pain point is aligning everyone to be on the same page operationally on how to do XYZ.
It's SOPs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
People needing to understand that if they're new to the company, how do they do what they
need
do?
to do. Yeah. Yeah. In talking about these wealth management firms and companies, finance is always about trust. How do we keep data privacy while using AI?
This is all a matter of trust, like you said, and unfortunately, because this field is so new, you can only have your best efforts, right? I don't think there's any foolproof way of doing it. Part of it is just risk management and how much, risk are you willing to take on? I think for us at Finmate, we're trying to provide at least the best effort as someone from the industry who still, maintains their licenses. We are one of the only AI note takers, at least on the note taking space out there, to proactively delete all data from our systems, right? Everything's on a timer cadence, right? We don't want to keep any data. We don't want to become books and records for FINRA. A lot of folks that are coming into wealth management industry from just the tech world, a little bit less hesitation around data, I think, just because of their background. For advisors, it's smart risk management, right? How much risk are you willing to take on? Who are you working with? What are their motivations, right? The other, I think, risk factor right now is because venture capital just has had so much money sitting on the sidelines, especially since Corona. We've just seen a stupid amount of money flowing into the AI space. I've seen things get funded that just really shouldn't be funded, and things getting funded to valuations that are just frankly not sustainable.
Yeah, we've talked about those a lot on and off the podcast. They got evaluated at how much?
It's just becoming just a little bit of its own soap opera.
It is very dumb. But the downside is because of these valuations, a lot of these founders are going to be forced to be able to find ways into profitability. And, if that means your data, it might mean your data, right? And so are these AI companies keeping your data by default? If it's yes, then chances are they're going to use it down the road because they have investors breathing down their neck. Now, this is also the reason that we at Finmate have chosen not to take any money. So we're fully privately owned, we're fully self-funded. And part of the reasoning is because I didn't want to be forced into using things or using data in ways that I was not comfortable with. I think what you're going to be seeing in the next couple, 6 months to 12 months maybe is a lot of these things are going to start bursting, and we're going to be seeing a very different landscape in about a year's time.
I think you mentioned with the advisors, really it's about making your technology easy to use. What are your thoughts on the end user's ability to manage their own money with the advancement in technology?
Again, there's two pathways. The robo-advisor pathway, where it's a done-for-you kind of investment platform that's very cheap, just plug and play. I know the financial companies are trying to figure out ways to make a little more money. What was it, 2022? Schwab got penalized by FINRA because their robo put people in cash accounts where Schwab was owning the cash accounts. And so they were earning interest on the cash. So you're going to need to figure out how are these companies actually making money off the robos? Because, if they're charging, 0.3%, what else are they doing? And maybe some of those algorithms will improve, but realistically speaking, those stock basic robo-advisor trading algorithms are just based off of modern portfolio theory, MPT, right? So I don't think they're going to change much. The other way to look at it is more on the fully you do it yourself way, where you're on trading platforms, Robinhood, TD before it went away. These companies will now be providing a lot more resources in terms of research. And so I'm sure there'll be layers of AI inserted into these trading platforms that just give you more data, more research, more trends, more technology, just to be able to make those trades better. But for us, because we're focused more on the B2B side, I'm more concerned about just making the advisors' lives a little easier.
I think if the advisor can focus on not the busy work of everything, you actually get better advisors.
Well, before we wrap up, we have to play a little game.
Yes. So, Daniel, we have our AI community. It's the AI squad, and we give you a nickname. And so with you, Daniel, obviously, we're just getting to know you. We kind of played around with a few different nicknames. We were just having fun. We're like Mr. FinTech.
I kind of like the Mr. FinTech. I mean, he's got the blazer on. He's giving business. Mr. gives you a little proper professional nickname. But we're going to throw in one more other. This is human generated, by the way.
Yeah. We can't even blame it on AI.
I like to play off of pre-existing catchphrases and titles and songs and things of that nature. So I was just like, oh, we were talking about AI agents. And I was like, oh, there's secret agent man. And then so we threw a D in there and we were like, what about if we call you Secret Dagent?
I don't know how to respond.
That's a first on AI Chicks where someone has been speechless. He's like, no.
Has anyone given you a nickname that you like?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, or Dan, I've gotten those mixes, but not really anything, professionally. To be frank with you, I'm not really much for nicknames in the first place, so I don't think I'm the best person to ask for this stuff, because I've really not thought about it too much. But, you have a good audience, so maybe they'll be able to crowdsource something.
In the interim, we have Mr. FinTech. Let's let people comment if you have a better, more catchier name. Host nickname, AI Squad induction for Daniel. We'll let someone else pick the nickname.
Fair enough.
This would be quite interesting.
Just put a Mr. in front of it. Thank you so much, Daniel. We hope that you enjoyed being on the AI Chicks today.
Absolutely. Had a good time. Hopefully y'all had some fun.
Yes, thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and what, Aisha?
Get that merch. All right, you guys, take care.
Bye. Listen to the AI Chicks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Video episodes are available on Patreon. And check out our socials at The AI Chicks.